Alright, welcome back to Fallout Old World Blues. And if you're looking at the map, you might notice it's a little bit different from last time. And that's because there was an update. There was an update which changed a number of things in the game for the better, including the fact that the Twin Mothers got a number of fixes and additions, which I'll show you in a moment. The problem was, however, that it did make it impossible for me in my current save to keep a bunch of my advisors. So I had to basically restart the game, repeat all my previous steps, and as a result, we're in pretty much the same position we were, because I deliberately repeated all of the same focuses, the same prioritizations, the same tactics to get to basically the same point as before. I was able to optimize a little bit because I knew that I didn't have to justify these wars. I'd get the claims themselves, so I saved some political power there, so I was able to move up the time frames a little bit. And I shaved a couple of days off the wars so far just because I knew what to expect, which has all been really handy. So I think I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. As a result of that restart, the hangdogs over here didn't fall to Warden, so there are still raiders to our east, which is bad for us. And Vault City didn't fall to the relatively weak Cyclops tribe. They fell to New Reno, which is actually worse for us, in that that may become a reasonable power, although if they serve as a break on the New California Republic, maybe that's for the better. Other things like the Troll Warren hasn't fallen, they're still fighting the Marrow Drinkers, so that war is up in the air. A number of those things have changed. That said, Lanius is in basically the same position he was. In fact, he may be a little bit ahead of schedule compared to where we were last time. And everything else is basically rolling as expected. Mojave Territories won their war again. Santa Ana is doing what he does. The Unity of Austin looks like they're about to destroy Crusher's army. So, it's all happening. Let's talk about those changes quickly because they are both a buff and a nerf to the Twin Mothers, and they make it more characterful. And they center on these things here. The conscription. Oh, I need to keep that open. The conscription laws. So, originally, the Twin Mothers used the same conscription laws as everyone else. They have now changed it. You now have unique ones: Diana's Protections, Auxiliaries, Warriors, Last Stand, and Diana's Nightmare, with their own little flavor texts. And the basic premise now is this. At the low mobilization levels, your laws are fantastic. So it is peaceful here. Our goddess protects us with her divine guardians, meaning the robots from the old world. Her mandate dictates only token peacekeepers will be allowed, and she warns that because it is man's great war that destroyed the old world. So when you're at low mobilization level, you get plus 5% org, plus 50% monthly population growth, and plus 25% construction speed. That's fantastic. As you go up to auxiliaries, it's a little bit weaker than the equivalent conscription law, so you get 7% instead of 8%, but it's still plus 25% monthly population plus 10% construction speed. It's an advantage. The problem is, as soon as you start switching into the higher mobilization laws, things switch around and you start getting debuffs. At 10% mobilization, you're at minus 10% population, minus 10% construction speed. At Last Stand, you're at minus 20% population, minus 15% construction speed. And finally, at Diana's Nightmare, you're at minus 5 org, minus 10% research, minus 20% construction, minus 25% population. And the idea here is that Diana is resistant to the idea of total mobilization. She's resistant to the idea of introducing her people too much to the concept of total war, because that's not the culture, the society she's trying to create. She saw war as a threat to the old world, which is, I suppose, quite right, considering that's how it ended, in nuclear fire. So, my original plan of going up to the higher mobilization levels as soon as I could is restricted. I've compromised and I've gone Diana's Auxiliaries, which is the 7% mobilization. I'm going to have to make it work, I think, because going up to here starts to get a little bit punishing for an extra 3% manpower. So we're going to have to work around this. This also means that if you get to the point in the game where you have lots and lots of robots and you're willing to shrink your army, there's actually a case for going back down to Diana's Protection, shivving your own manpower in exchange for all of those bonuses. So there's a couple of ways that we're going to compensate. We'll have to core more quickly. The manpower focuses are more important than ever, and I've actually gone outside of battalions, which is non-core manpower minus plus 20% in exchange for minus stability, planning speed, and adding resistance target. So this means we're using more non-core manpower. If we can't conscript a bunch of our tribespeople, maybe we can draw our manpower from the surrounding areas. So those are the main changes that have taken place. I'm getting ready for a war against the claim jumpers. So what should happen is, now that we've taken this nation here, the event chain that we have preemptively fired deliberately. I researched this, by the way, and it was mentioned in the comments. What is meant to happen is you're meant to do nothing, and then eventually the raiders to your north steal some of your people, and you get a CB on them, which you launch and you take it from them, and then you find out the people have actually been taken across the border to the foragers, so you fight them, and then finally you find out that they're in the claim jumpers territory in Bombay Jack Canyon, and you attack the claim jumpers. We've just started that event chain early by going north early, which is good because it means we get a couple of free CBs and get to expand this territory. I'm also, and I'm not sure I'll have time before Lanius comes for us, I haven't got the decryption yet to know where he's at on his focuses this time around, but I've started justifying a Black Canyon with the idea being that we might be able to, despite the fact they're really strong, we might be able to take them, maybe, before Lanius comes from us. But that's probably a long shot. Probably. But with all these narrow crossings, I'd rather do it sooner rather than later. Let me just check. 11 to 23, 5 to 29. So wide range of estimates there. So we should outnumber them. We should outquality them. The question is, given the crossings and the narrow fronts, is it enough? We will have a naval base, so we'll be able to do some naval invasion shenanigans, but you can see there's not really a huge number of options on where to land that won't be garrisoned. But first things first, we're going to have to take over the claim jumpers. They're relatively weak, 2 to 12 battalions, but they do have a good number of factories that can be put to use. We are running low on manpower, but let me just check logistics. How much demolitions equipment? I've got 128 demolitions equipment. How much demolitions do I need to... because I haven't added demolitions yet in this playthrough. 15. So I can afford to add it to some. There we go. And I believe I'm producing demolitions equipment as well. 1.21 a day. It's going to be a while until I have enough, but hopefully I'll capture some from the enemy as well. All good. Focuses, you basically know what I did. I repeated pretty much exactly. I'm now doing Wasteland Amazons because I want to get to the Gecko DNA. I think my idea at this point is complete these and get advanced specimens, but there might be diversions at some point for unlocking settler air tech and unlocking better boats. But we'll see. Anyway, that's where we're at for the moment. I'll come back when it's time for a war, or if something interesting happens, but I just wanted to bring you up to date on why I restarted, why we're in the same position, why things are very slightly different. See you shortly. Okay, so it is the 25th of December. It is Christmas Day. It's the evening of Christmas Day 2276. Our war goals popped. Everything is in position. We're seeing inferior enemy notifications on both of our armies. The naval invasion is indeed prepared. I guess let's do this. Rip claim jumpers.
Haven't had a decent meal in weeks.
Did I forget to put an offensive line? I absolutely did. Well, we won't get a planning bonus, which is unfortunate, but we'll do what we can. And let's lock that division in position, because when we land our naval invasion, we want to be able... oh, industry tech. Well, we want to be able to cut them off and actually encircle and destroy them. Ideally, what are we due for? Let's get some decryption so we can see what Lanius is doing. Looks like we will break through in the south. Landings are coming through behind the lines. And what happens is, hopefully by taking this port, we'll have some supply lines. Perfect. Let's lock this all up. Actually, let's go and take VPs that way and actually cut off the supplies in the south. That's probably the more effective way of doing things.
Hello, sir.
Are you the remaining divisions from over here? No. All good.
I'm gonna send you packing.
No, you're not allowed to leave. You gotta stay there.
Hey.
If we just keep all those divisions in position, this should be good. We are losing, we've lost 12 people so far. Not exactly grievous casualties, but something. And what we are doing is we are cutting supply lines, which I like, because it'll de-org our opponents relatively quickly. We may even get a capitulation out of these two territories. I'm not sure if we need Leadville in order to make it happen.
Hello? Sir?
And we should get an encirclement here, actually. Yeah, we should.
Hello, sir.
Nice. Well, this war is not exactly proving particularly challenging. It's that classic formula of just use a little naval invasion to break up these narrow flanks, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble a lot of the time. But we also have some pretty strong divisions, and by divisions I mean like basically battalions at this point, I suppose. And that's Lanius Cohort justifying. Fantastic. So, cancel justification on them. We won't need that just yet. Let's finish this war and then fight Lanius. Jesus Christ. Well, it's not like we didn't see that coming. Okay, 177 dynamite. That should solve most of our problems there. Melee weaponry, basic weaponry. Okay, all good. There's some valuable equipment there. Take all states, done. Alright. Well,
What's up?
I guess Lanius is coming for us. Give me a few minutes to plan, and then we'll be back once I've organised myself a little bit. Fun time. One bonus I will note as I'm preparing is that we get a big manpower infusion from finding those captives, who were never actually stolen, so we never actually lost the manpower in the first place. So, let's get a couple of extra 20 wits out. Let's get some extra robots out. So we're going to have, what, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. We'll have 34 battalions ready, and I think that should be about numerically even with Lanius if they all get trained up in time, which I really hope they do. What we'll do is right at the time that we're going to fight, in fact, I'm going to do this now. We'll go to lifetime pensions for our warriors, which should increase our manpower a little bit more. Anything to squeeze out a few more troops. Because we've got the equipment, we just don't have the manpower. We'll get the followers bonus on manpower, which I haven't done at this point because I wasn't going to have the equipment. I'll do that, and that'll force out some more units, and then hopefully we won't bleed out as this war goes on. My plan, by the way, which I'm setting up, is there's going to be a holding force. I'm fortifying this area now. Lanius is going to bleed against that, and at the appropriate time, we'll launch a naval invasion at Westcliff, and we'll go for an encirclement at the front. We may even go for a partial... I might set like a partial fallback line here and try and encircle, but given how narrow it is up until like here, I'm not sure that's particularly worth it. I think it might just be a case of let's just grind them down at this 2-province choke. But we'll see. I might also fill out a little more infrastructure here in order to make the supply situation better. Let's see if we can just do that. Because these will be done, outposts will be done, then the forts will be done. Yep, I'm happy. Alright, I'll come back shortly. Okay, one note, again. So, Hounds of Day have gone to war with Black Canyon, which means whoever we fight up here is going to be large. Hopefully they'll burn out their manpower, but whoever wins this war is going to be quite large. I'm hoping it's a stalemate and a long stalemate, but if I do survive against Lanius, I'm going to need to fight whoever wins out of this conflict. And even then, even though this looks like a lot of territory, it's quite shit compared to, say, what Kaiser, RRG, Ejército Mexicano, or the Tlaloclan or the NCR has, but it would be something. That said, if I lose to Lanius, I'm in deep shit, because whoever wins out of this conflict is the person I have to go to war with in order to reconquer from the nursery, because I didn't get to the nursery before the war with Lanius. If I had, what I could have done is lose the twin mothers, remain, and then the war would continue, but all the defeat events would fire, and I'd be able to just rally from up north, but it's not going to be, it seems. Unfortunate. But anyway, let's keep this rolling. Alright, here we go. What do we want? Probably division defense on, I'm thinking division defense on core territory and max planning. So the idea, and what I'll do is I'll slow the speed down and save here. We'll talk about it, and then I'll let it play. We're just going to hold the choke point. I've got my naval invasion units camping, ready to move if they need to. I've got the Navy patrolling. Hopefully Navy patrolling will stop Lanius attempting amphibious landings. I've got the offensive lines only so I can get the nice little inferior enemy note as I go. I've got the bonus on core territory, so defense bonus against country is fired. The only question I have is, Lanius hasn't deployed enough stuff here yet. I don't know where the rest of his units are. Now, if I attack immediately, I lose my entrenchment, but I might be able to push him back before he gets reinforcements and maybe pull off some sort of encirclement. But if I sit and wait, I'm pretty much guaranteed to be fine. You need to come off exercise, by the way, and org back up. You're all entrenched, fully entrenched. Excellent. I'm going to think about it for a minute, do some math. Let's save. Think about this. I'll be back once I finish mulling, because this is a big call. I didn't expect to have a chance to make a spoiling attack, but it might be worth making a spoiling attack. Okay, this event has popped up, and I've just noticed I wasn't recording, so bloody hell, go me. Let's talk about what's going on here in a moment, but first, Battle for Hoover Dam. So, Caesar's Legion is apparently getting the upper hand over the NCR's Mojave territories at the moment. We'll see. If they succeed, there's a version of this where Caesar's Legion can sweep into the Mojave and potentially threaten New Vegas, which is what we want to avoid. We'd want a victory for the NCR at the first Battle of Hoover Dam. But at the moment, they're saying Caesar's Legion has the upper hand, which is a problem. What I've been talking about for the last however many minutes, and then missed, was what I've attempted to do with Lanius. So, I had a quick look. The estimates are that we're probably outnumbered by anywhere from about somewhere between 20 and 50% on manpower, or less than that, like 10% through to maybe 20-30% on manpower, in terms of manpower in the field. Lanius has more factories than us by a factor of up to 50% extra factories, and Lanius has in his reserves, where does it going to tell me? Here it is. Available manpower between 3 and 5,000. We have 338 available manpower. And admittedly, 2,000 on the way very shortly from assistance from the followers, but that's it. So, we have less manpower, we have fewer units in the field, and we have fewer factories. On that basis, I was like, nah, attritional warfare is not the way to go because we won't bleed him down in any reasonable amount of time. So what I did was I let Lanius attack for like a day to deorg his units, and then I launched my naval invasion. And my intention is I'm launching this sweeping motion using some of my better divisions and also the special forces units. I even brought across some of our robots. And the intention is to link up. I'm using also some of my heavy robots here to break through. My plan is to encircle all of this, and if I can destroy these units, then even if my front collapses further in the south, which is really only there to delay at this point, like I'm just trying to loop in and he's running as fast as he can. In fact, I'll probably stop that attack there. My intention is to encircle these Lanius divisions. I shouldn't say divisions, like battalions, maybe? Like, or strengthened company. There's only about 270 manpower in these things, so very weak battalions. Encircle them and try and gain the advantage. But the problem is, even though this is working, I'm not sure it will keep working, it depends if there's any reserves out this way and where the rest of Lanius's troops are. If Caesar gets the upper hand over the Mojave, then this may be all for naught. But I'm not going to panic just yet. I'm just going to be micromanaging units here for a moment, and I'll come back if something interesting happens, or if we're about to close this bubble. But yeah, so far we've lost more troops than he has, because we've been launching most of the offensives. We've got less on our side. I'm about to get a huge chunk of manpower, which will at least keep me fighting, which is good. I've got a whole bunch of units that are training. I'm not going to rush deploy them. They'll help, but I'm not sure we're in the best shape at the moment. Let's make sure we've got robots in training as well. So we've got maximum number of spec ops, them and that. We're good for equipment. I've gone to lifetime pensions just for that little bit extra population. Wasteland Economy. Can we go to well-funded army? We can go to well-equipped army. So what will that do? Cut my consumer goods, reduce my conversion cost, increase construction speed. Sounds like a go to me. Because what would we need? We need to be more than 60% world tension for every cap for the army, which we're not going to get. So well-equipped army it is, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so we've established a very, very tenuous encirclement. Some of the units seem to have fled off into their allied territory over here, which is unfortunate because it means they'll escape. But what we're going to try and do is take Westcliff and at least grab these units in an encirclement. The other good thing is doing this means that supplies are now really quickly flowing and these get these units back up to supply and thus more operational. We're really out on a limb in the south. We're sort of fending off what we can with very little down here as well. These special forces units are good, but they're not infinitely good. And yet, I still am tempted to try some encirclements and just push to try and close this off. To go with this, we're taking fight for peace. So, citizens of the Wasteland, hear me. For too long have persecutors and tormentors been allowed to rule the Wasteland through fear. I say no more. Your way of life can become free and beautiful if only we join. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Diana's issuing her call to the Wasteland. This focus is more useful if we were on core territory, which we're not. We're fighting in Lanius' backyard, because I think that's the better way to win this war and still have a shot at holding off Caesar's Legion later on, especially considering with this war up here, Black Canyon and the Hounds of Day will finish their war at some point. How's that going? Not definitive. It looks like Black Canyon has had more troops, or significant more troops, but they're also losing a lot more, and they've actually been the ones who lost territory. So I'd like to intervene in that conflict before it's over, and to do that, we need to end this one. So I'm going to keep microing, and we'll be back shortly, because I assume you don't want to see every tiny little maneuver. Okay, so just at reference, I'm at 439 losses, Lanius is at 219, and we're looking at 2 encirclements. One up here of 1 battalion, and one here of 4, 5, 6, 7, looks like 8.
Come on!
Got to break those guys down before Lanius breaks through. Luckily, our quality of our units seems to be holding up, like serving us well here. Is there seriously a unit there that we can't get to? Come on, there we go. Break that unit down. Okay, that unit has surrendered, which is good because the AI will then reassign those 5 divisions to other fronts. And what we want to now do is close this one. You can see all of the Kaiser's Legion allies are coming through, but they're not part of this war, so they can't actually get involved. Oh, we're in danger of being cut off ourselves now. We need to pull that back, get one of those divisions there to delay that. This is all very precarious. This is very precarious. I need to finish these encirclements. So all these units can storm south. Okay, it looks like they're falling. I've just been nervously watching every hour.
Hello, sir.
And I'm trying to, while we're being scared here, I'm trying to fall back, but also take this square, which I've noticed is only held by a unit that's not actually at war with me, because it's actually a Kaiser's Legion unit, which is not in this war. And I'm hoping we can net this guy as well. All those units from there are redeploying, which is good because it's really easing things up. This flank, for one, looks like it's going to open right up. It's over here where we're short on units, and it comes down to this right here ending. Come on. End that guy. Ruin their day. Bingo, and end him. Nice, okay, where are we at? That's what we wanted. Okay, so we've lost 544, they have lost 2,000, and we now have the advantage in fielded manpower. And seeing as some of our fielded manpower is robots, I don't want to know how many of them I've lost, but we've got the firepower, I think. So, we're in a good position. What I'm going to do...
Sir?
That'll reoccupy and do that. Then I have to assign divisions between these 2 borders. What I think I'm going to do to rebalance... Where are most of you guys from? I'm going to reorg those divisions in a moment, but first I just want to clear this up. Yeah, I know I'm at low manpower. I'm waiting for my units to deploy so I can train even more. This might be a little chaotic, but I'm considering deleting all of these orders and reorging it so... Where are these units? Mostly up here, okay. Guess where you guys are going. You're losing all of your orders. You're now responsible for this front.
Haven't had a decent meal in weeks.
And you guys are responsible for the entire eastern front. You're going offensive line all the way south.
Hey there.
Your offensive line down here. And I don't expect as much from you. But let's hand just a couple of units over to help even that out. And then once everyone's in position, other than microing,
Hello, sir.
I'll actually launch a general offensive. But I'm considering, is it possible to net some more units here?
Haven't had a decent meal in weeks.
You probably don't need to retreat anymore, actually. But you can see they're really hungry for us down here. Oh! Great. Fantastic. So I think that gives Caesar's Legion the opportunity to go against New Vegas, which is really shit. So one, this is a huge boon for the Legion, right? Because usually you rely on the Legion burning all of its manpower on Hoover Dam. Now it's got the advantage of Hoover Dam, it's got the extra resources of this territory, which includes some very good provinces, and if it goes to war and takes New Vegas, I think that gives the Legion... I think the Legion, if it takes... Yeah, here we are. So this is the Triumph Tree, which they'll get. Eventually they'll get all sorts of war goals. All sorts of war goals, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think there's actually a Kaiser's tree somewhere. I'm not sure. Basically what I think can happen is I think that if... it might be this tree here. If you take New Vegas, Kaiser can get his cancer treated. And if his cancer's treated, you don't get Legion Civil War. And part of my survival plan was to go after Caesar's Legion during the Legion Civil War. There isn't one if Kaiser takes New Vegas. Also, Kaiser just is a very competent leader. And if he is healed and the Legion gets to keep him, then that's probably not very good for anyone, except for the Legion. And we've decided we're not going to be their friends. So if we were doing a Diana aligned with the Legion run, that would actually be some pretty cool news. We'd have some really strong allies, but I don't think that's the situation we're in. Who is in a position... Are you counting inferior enemy? Yes, you are. So you can attack. And you can keep running down the tribal research tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stabilize this area over here and just run up the count over here. Maybe encircle some more battalions. I want to keep this running at a reasonable pace. So we'll be back when something interesting happens. I'm hoping I can snare some more. But that first encirclement, like skin of our teeth, but grabbing all those units, 2,000 troops off the field for 570 of our own. We have manpower reserves. The other thing about taking out units in full is it takes time to replace entire units, a lot more than it takes to just reinforce existing units. So we're in a good place, especially since these guys are almost ready. We're in a good position. Alright, we're back. Alright, so we ended up getting 2 in this encirclement here. The rest of them just fled, as was wise and smart. And this will give us control of another crossing. What's the odds here? No, you're still not liking your odds, apparently. Give him a poke anyway. And then you immediately fall ill. Okay, that's one way to protest your orders. Thanks. Let's send the robots around to flank. What's our casualty count looking like? 3k. Okay. Fielded manpower, 2.37 to 2.79 to 5. And I've got a feeling our... Yep, any minute now, our fielded manpower is going to jump, and we're going to send them down at this front here. Not going to spend the time to train them, we're just going to push them into battle. And now that he doesn't have enough troops to hold this front line, I'm just going to open it as wide open, just make these leaping bounds.
Hello?
There are some unassigned divisions. Like, wait one more day and more should drop. Shouldn't they? Not quite. Okay, well, get moving. Oh, wait, no. There.
Hey.
Am I going to get another encirclement here? I think I am. These okay, let's just... This is not tactical brilliance on my part, okay? It's not tactical brilliance. Like, a couple of special forces troops and some good divisions behind the lines worked well, but really the robots are doing this. The robots and those new template 20 width divisions are really good. The light robots are what are allowing us to flank and run up the numbers on encirclements. The heavy robots are the only thing I've got that can reliably, like, crunch the Legion divisions. And now that Legion divisions are mostly de-orged, I'm not letting them re-org.
Hello, sir.
Pushing back across the river.
Sir?
Want to control those river crossings. Permanent 20% decrease in coring costs sound good. Especially since if we get the terraforming tree, we can get reductions in coring costs there too. So we should be able to terraform the wasteland relatively cheaply if we get to that point. Okay, job's done, unit eliminated. We're still at 3. He's also recruited some new units, unfortunately, so his forces are actually going up, but so are ours. How far south do we need to go for some victory points?
What's up?
How are you feeling about an encirclement?
Hey. Sir?
Like, let's just cut you off. How are we feel? How are we reckoning? Every unit we eliminate's worth something, right? It's just, will he go into retreat mode before we get to occupy this desert?
Hello?
Not sure. Nah, we're good. We got him.
What's up?
We got him.
Sir?
And the push down over there is working well because we just got numbers and the extra units coming in will help.
What's up?
Okay, that'll be an overrun and another battalion eliminated. You can run all the way to Roswell and cross the river. Fight for peace is completed. Well, we are fighting for peace and it's going bloody well. Awesome. I think we can continue. I don't want to go... I could go air tech, I could go naval tech, but I think I want to push... And I really want to get terraforming and coring soon too. But I think the push is... I think the push is research slots. I think the push is research slots, which means getting the rest of the DNA samples. So let's get the... Actually, we may as well first get the 24-hour supply grace, because that may be handy with some of this war. It's not amazing as a focus, but it's worth doing it. Oh, and let's knock out Castasol Robrum.
Hello?
We might actually be able to capitulate him relatively quickly here. That'd be fantastic. Do we have any command abilities we can add? No, doesn't look like it.
What's up?
Nah, that would have been too much to ask for. Another battalion vulnerable to encirclement by our fast-moving robots.
Sir?
Move, my robots, move. And in this timeline, the Troll Warren, who we saw defeated in my original play, actually beat the Marrow Drinkers. So there you go. Troll Warren will survive to be a reasonably major threat to just about everyone else, depending on how things progress. Always good to know there are threats out there for the future. Also, this unit is about to die. Oh, no, it's not.
I'm out of here.
Thanks to that last-minute movement, it's going to escape. That is a tragedy. Let's see if we can get both of them.
Sir?
Fight them while they're de-orged. Fight them while they're de-orged. That looks like... No, it's not an encirclement, it's nothing. But we got...
Sir?
I think that was Lanius' capital we took. So he might actually be getting low on VPs. We've basically collapsed his front at this point. I'm loving the way this has gone. Absolutely loving it. Let's set to train some dogs, because I want to add those to our units eventually. And we need to buy some energy. We'll buy it from the hangdogs. Huh. You can get a white piece with Lanius. Okay, so apparently you're meant to be able to hold Lanius in position and then white piece him, and then go and do... If I'd known that, I might not have done this. I might have just stuck it out and taken the white piece option. But too late now. What are the criteria on that? Oh, you got to push him a bit. You got to push him to here. Why would you sign a peace treaty if you push Lanius to... If you pushed him back, then you're probably gonna win.
Set up a crossfire.
Especially if you're a crazy nutter like me. I just thought you'd want to see the canoe fight. There's a canoe fight between our great navies of canoes and longships. The last Lanius longboat has just been destroyed by our much numerically superior navy. All fear our canoes. I'm kind of worried we're starting to get low on power cells, by the way. We've got to finish this war soon. Or our robots are going to stop working, which would not be great. Let's go to the pass. In fact, let's just go anywhere that there are points for... Yes! So that didn't go the way I expected. Is there any reason not to just do this? I don't think they're 16% world tension. Ah, screw it. Alright, freed slaves from Lanius Cohort. After the successful annexation of Lanius Cohort, we have found a population of slaves who are grateful for their freedom. As we do not endorse or practice slavery, we offer them freedom. A good amount of them are healthy ones, and they're willing to join our military forces for freeing them. Manpower plus 70... Oh, we get his cash! We get his cash. Oh, that's such a huge amount of cash. New citizen care package, which increases compliance gain. Oh, mate. Mate. So they had more troops than us. They had more reserve manpower, they had more factories. And you're meant to just hold them off. And I'm trying to figure out in retrospect why we won that, and why we won that so freaking decisively. For the record, I have played this before, I've tested this before. This is by far the best I have done. And I'm not sure if it was me getting a little bit of extra org from here, and getting extra... having more troops than you're meant to. I had division attack. I had everything I could possibly scrape together. I also think the division designs I went with this time were better. Using the Hecate Elite divisions, the 20 wits, adding some demolitions to them and making a lot more of them. That seems to have gone very well. The special forces and the light robots were very handy. But I'm not sure. If anyone else has played this out, let me know how you went, because I'm impressed with how that went. We've worn a lot of our divisions down, it's true. But now we're in a very interesting position. Because now we can take Twin Mothers victorious, which I think unlocks a whole bunch of stuff down here around further expansionism. How long does it take for me to justify a war? I'm just checking something here, because I know I can get these by focus. But instead of doing it by focus, I can do war decks just cause. This really does look like the Black Canyon's losing, by the way, doesn't it? Let's check that war. Oh yeah, Black Canyon's real close to surrendering. And this, despite the fact they've got big manpower advantage. So Hounds a Day must have relatively good units. And I can recruit a lot more. Like, what's my logistics table like? Yeah, I'm good on everything except for the heavy robots. I have so much infantry equipment. I've got a lot of demo. Got some fire team weapons. But I got a lot of demolitions equipment. So what I can do is let's add demolitions to the heavy robots first and foremost. Let's edit the special forces to add demolitions, which I think ups them considerably. Does it change their speed much? It gives them a lot more negative terrains. in terms of movement. But it gives them a lot more... I think that's worth it. Let's train a lot more 20 wits. Have one extra robot in training, and that'll bulk out the army considerably. I'm not going to sit here and think about this too long. Let's make that the next episode. For now, that was the Blitzkrieg against Lanius Cohort, which means we're now in the game to play against small, challenging local neighbors, and then eventually we're going to have to challenge either Caesar's Legion or the New California Republic, or eventually some of the powers from down here as well. But we're in a bloody good position to do it. And manpower went through the roof because we're getting a lot of non-core manpower. There's 303,000 non-core manpower for us to draw on, and we're getting 1.75% of it, which ain't bad. We'll go up in the factory count. We're going to have to repair a whole bunch of shit. I can cancel the forts. And I can probably cancel the infrastructure too. I'll keep the Twin Mothers infrastructure. A lot to repair. But once we do, we're going to be in reasonable shape. We can unlock the rest of the focus tree. So I'm going to have a think, and we'll come back next episode with some plans for the Twin Mothers from here. If you have any suggestions, do you want me to rush the war goals and try and clean up these guys in the north? Should I go fight someone else and then use the focus goals? Should I justify? Should I go for the terraforming tree or focus the tech? I'm of two minds. There's so many choices at this point, from building our realm to getting advanced technology to being able to terraform. The choices are pretty endless. We can even go down the building society route. But sorry, I cut off there. But I think that'll have to wait just a little bit. Anyway, keen to hear your thoughts. That's it for this time, and I'll see you all again soon.